All right, can we ask your age?
68.
68, and your name?
Chris Frazerhurst.
Chris, and it's a bit of a pleasure interviewing you because you were one of the pioneers of surfing in Whangarei and started the club. So it's a real pleasure. So your first surfboard, can you remember what that was?
Yeah, a Levine.
Levine.
Yeah.
Were they made in New Zealand? Or?
Yeah, Levine shop.
Yeah.
Came
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They were big planks.
So did you buy that in locally here or?
No, brought it up from Auckland.
Brought it up from Auckland.
Yeah.
So where did you start surfing?
Oh, Waipu Cove.
Waipu Cove.
Yeah.
So you were a lifesaver before you were a surfer?
Everything came together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So with the Tarihi Surf Club.
Oh, that was a couple of years later.
Yeah, but when that got started, you were secretary treasurer the first. Were you at Barry Chappelle's place when they had that first meeting?
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And what did no one want to be secretary treasurer, or did you push it up?
Yeah, we just did it. And then I used to write the magazine. Did you ever see those?
We've got 7 of them. Like your brother had, Tim had some, and we've got 7. I don't know how.
And you just wrote them as it came out of you. You didn't worry about grammar or anything. And
there's some interesting articles in those because you did interview on Tui Wordley, Ian McLean and things like that, why they started surfing and where, so those are like gold to me. So you started surfing at Waipu Surf Club. Who did you surf with out there? It was
chaps like Chester Pickering, Joey Whittaker, Tui Wordley, Kid Steer, Roddy Finlayson.
Yeah.
And the Edge boys, Don and Ross. Yeah. And then up at Ruak Carcass Surf Club, which was starting, Johnny Bruce and Dennis Sterling were around them. And then the boys from Langs Beach used to come out, like Tim Murdoch. Yeah. And Mike Daniels. Yeah. The young little Mike, who used to come. Yeah.
So that was quite a big crew that were really. And what year are we talking? Early 60s, 63, 64,
no,
something like that.
No, 61.
61. Yeah.
61. Yeah. Might have been earlier.
Yeah. It just sort of surfing took off, and we don't know why, but everyone was just, I don't know, it was something about it.
Well, the films, there's a few films around.
Yeah, it helped promote it.
And like the Gidget, I suppose the Gidget seemed released.
Yeah.
But and then the magazines were coming out. Yeah. We didn't even have wetsuits. We used to wear rugby shorts and
surfed right through winter. I can remember that.
I had one of the first wetsuits. I got it off in Australia. It was a white horse or something like that, white shark or something. Yeah, and a vest. Yeah, just a vest. Yeah. And always wore shorts. Yeah. And your speedos underneath. Yeah.
The shops, they might have the odd dive wetsuit, but they were just useless because they were so thick, weren't they?
Yeah, so you didn't worry about them.
No. Now, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but you actually sold boards in Whangarei. How did you get onto that?
Well, there was no one selling them, and I got hold of the Roger Land surfboards from Kevin Brightwell owned it then. Roger retired. Roger, he was sort of name around selling yachts and that in later years. But and then I wanted. We went and used to go down. We'd bring up 6 at a time. Yeah. But people would order them. Yeah. And I think, if my memory's right, and then I'd take boards as trade-ins, and I think one time we had 40 boards at home, and they only lasted a fortnight.
Your parents must have been pretty understanding in those days,
weren't they? Well, Dad made this rack. Yeah. So we made a rack, and we had them all stacked on them. And I got home one day after surfing, because we used to take off early in the morning, and a lot of the boards are gone. And Mum said, "I sold that." And I said, "Where's my board?" And she said, "I sold that." So I think we made £5 every board we used to make. But that was sort of 64, 65, those years before. And then the shop in Whangarei was it Wiseman's shop? He got Dunlop boards up. Yeah. And I can't think of his name. His son was I can't think of his name now. But they sold surfboards, and they were one of the first to do it. It
always seems funny that a lot of those shops were like a hardware shop. They'd be selling feed for cows, and next door there'd be a surfboard. It wasn't really the...
It was just around the corner by Fisher's. Yeah. just that shop there was a sports shop in Galloway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was it Galloway, the golfer?
Yeah, yeah, it was, yeah.
And his son was a friend of ours, and yeah.
Yeah. So where did you pick those boards up? You went from Whangarei to?
Oh, we used to go down on a Friday night.
Yeah.
To Hamilton.
Hamilton.
And he would pay for our petrol, and we'd pick them up. Most of them were ordered.
Yeah.
And then we'd bring them back up here. We'd go all through the night. It was take someone with you.
Yeah, yeah. Just to keep you awake, I suppose.
Yeah, and we'd change around. And the head on the roof of the Volkswagen, it used to dent in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
yeah.
the pressure
so
of the
much.
boards there, and then we used to drag ourselves down there and back, and well, that was a lot of money in those days.
And well, yeah, probably the average wage would have been only what, £5 or £6 maybe,
was, yeah,
for a young fella. They'd be lucky to get that, wouldn't they?
So we just went on from that, and then developed, and then we decided to set this up, and then we got the biggest thing with the Tartee surf riders was the comradeship, and we had these little contests that you got in the photos up here.
Yeah.
But that would end up, we'd have a socials.
Yeah.
And we could do things, and we had so much. And the other things we did was we'd get movies from Tin Murdoch from Auckland.
Yeah.
And use the hall down there by the Potter Home. What was that, the Druids Hall?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we'd fill it up with people. Yeah, and then the picture theatre man would come down and tell us off for running a picture. And we would we'd make money.
Yeah.
And out of it, and then we'd say we'd have like a social in the Anarahi Hall. But we never.
Yes, we did, and I
or
think it
the
got closed.
Or the Warrior.
Yeah, the one at Anarahi actually got closed down by the police or someone because I think some bikies turned up, or someone was thought about it, and they sort of closed us down over nothing much, but yeah. But,
was there one at the Old Boys Rugby Club one time?
Yes, there were several there.
And someone flogged the keg?
Yes, and they got it back.
Yeah, the boat too, he found this bloke had asked, we were wandering along looking for someone, and they said, do you want a beer, come in here? And I said, that's our keg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
yeah, remember that? And we had a lot of those, and it was good fun, but we never had much trouble with them.
No, I was just thinking, like, we all had our little groups that we surfed with mostly, but we all knew each other, sort of, how's it going, and that sort of thing, and there wasn't too much aggro between the guys. I know, again, there wasn't an odd fight over a girl or something like that, but it didn't come to much, did it?
Well, like, you sort of mentioned the girls up here, and then put on the Irene Clark, and a few of those other girls around, I remember going to Gisborne and we met up with Irene Clark down there. But we had such a great peninsula here where we had shippies, and we go around and we could live there for the weekend and take nothing.
You could live off the mussels.
Malt biscuit.
Yeah.
And a tin of baked beans or something, and you put your mussels into the baked bean tin and cook them, and tow a line out on your board and catch some fish, or go around and get some powers. And
you remember shippies when I first went there? Those old vehicles that the locals had to go around the rocks. They were just a frame, 4 wheels, and a steering wheel, and that was about it, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I just think we could go around and Mukarao and all those places here.
Yeah.
It was great. And I remember one time we took this chap. He was a lawyer in Whangarei here. His name was Johnny Beneo. And he didn't surf, but he wanted to come with us, so he came, and we lost him. He thought he'd go for a walk along the beach, but he went the wrong way. He went north, and we must have found 10 miles up the beach or something.
He just kept walking.
Because we just went surfing and left him there, and he was just a bit lonely, and away he went, and I thought, never get that. And the other times we were so buggered. You would drive up there, and everyone in the car would have to have a turn driving, sometime driving home.
It used to be after work on a Friday night or something.
And you go all weekend, you come home and spend all, the first thing you do is get in the kelp out of your hair.
Yeah. So, your first car, what was that? Was that a Volkswagen? Or
I think it was a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the chaps that used to, one chap was a mechanic, and he used to service our Volkswagens for us. Phil Rashusky.
Oh, yes.
And he used to go, my car's broken, I'll bring it over here. And his wife was Carol, they were married in those days. You remember Phil?
Yes, he's still at Wellington's Bay.
Yeah, I ran into him a couple of times. And he used to live on the top of, I used to say he lived up Parahaki, but around that way somewhere. Yeah.
So, when you were surfing, did you ever have a day where the surf was fantastic and does anything stand out where you just had a fantastic day of surfing, you did everything right? Or?
Yeah, well, we would, when I've written down here that we had a sort of surf spotter, we called them, and that was Moji out of Waipu, and they would give us a report from there.
Yeah.
This goes right back, and Tui really used to always take her up a gift.
Oh yeah, and then, yeah, a thank you type thing.
Yeah. And then we got to work it out where the surf was. We just went, and there was always surf. Yeah. Whether it on the east coast up north or over the west coast over the Shipwreck Bay. But I've had some fantastic places. Yeah. You know, even the Sandy Bay or Elliott's or. Yeah. We just went and went and went.
And found surf probably where no one else had surfed in some of those places, wasn't you?
Yeah, well, we sort of got permission to go across farms and where the big golf courses up there.
Yeah, Carey Cliffs.
Yeah, they got the farmers up there got me to go up there and sit on the side of the hill and tell them where the currents were and things like that for safety and that. And I did a few things like that. And even going over to Bailey's Beach, which was never my favourite spot, but it was good. And even Mangawai before the surf club was there. And
so in lots of ways we were very lucky up here because we had coastline to burn really, and it's still out there.
It's the greatest peninsula I've ever lived in.
Yeah, and I was talking to a guy from Aussie that day, and he came over here in the early 70s, and he said he came sort of from Manly area where there was hundreds of surfers in the water, came over here, and most of the beaches would only be him out or no one else. He just sort of couldn't believe it. But there was a lot of us surfing, but I don't know, you can still go to Sandy Bay in the morning and be by yourself on a good day. But
I think we're lucky. I remember a great day at party, you know. Yeah. And we went out there, and Tui Willie was driving a hopper, you know, a fertiliser suit, and we had boards in the back of the hopper. and we went over with Roddy and I and Tui and Kit might have been there. But you know, like Dennis Sterling was a great one to join us and things like that. Yeah.
So did you surf when they were building the refinery? Yeah. Did you surf on that pier?
Yeah, I did.
That was a brilliant wave, wasn't it?
Yeah, I worked in the bank, and the bank closed the doors at 3 o'clock, and I knew if I was a teller, and if I balanced, I was gone. Yeah. And I could be out there just after 4. Yeah. I could surf till dark.
That was a great spot. Yeah. If ever they're going to put a reef on the northern coast, that's where it should be, but they probably never get it.
Oh, that was magic there. We had some great surf there. But even in the summer, I would go out to Waipu Cove and stay there. And my life was go to the beach when the surf was up, and you would stay at the surf club that night in the bunkhouse, and you'd come to work, have a shower, and then you'd have a surf in the morning, come to work, go home, change my clothes. Those days we wore white shirts and that, and change some clothes at lunchtime, and then go back and work the afternoon, hang the clothes up, hop in the car and out to the beach again. And it went on and on and on like that.
You would have slept pretty well at night time?
Yeah. So that was great. Like, sort of, and then sort of Mum and Dad used to go home for lunch, so it was great. We could sit and talk and just change my clothes.
So did you have any surf heroes in those days, early surfing? Did you look up to anyone, or was it just overseas guys in the films and the magazines?
Yeah, it was like Mickey Dora and all those boys from the California coast. Yeah,
I think everyone sort of looked up to Tui a bit because he was pretty good at what he did, but the local dudes anyway.
You know, I used to always call him Cockwood. He was sort of a father figure. He was kind and we never got into trouble with Tui. No. We just got out and enjoyed life, and I think that was my biggest thing is I just was gone. Yeah. You know, I never stayed around home. I just went surfing and.
It was a great time. I can remember, I don't know if you know this, but I did my own interview, but I remember we had the satellites in Bank Street, and I was in my Morris Minor, and Tui Woody pulled up in the lime spreading truck. And I think it was cheeky young Max Atkinson was sitting next to me, and he yelled out, "Give us a drag, Tui." Tui just beat me by miles in the damn big truck, but he was just laughing and giggling, carrying on. It just left me for dead.
No, he was certainly like in the latest Kiwi Surf magazine. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen the latest.
There's a photo of us there.
Yeah.
Back in 1962.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Just sitting on the side of the road, and there was.
Oh yeah, and yes, I did see
it. Took it out of that.
The magazine, yeah. They're relaunching that book or adding some new photos to it, aren't they?
So that was interesting to. My brother told me about it, So,
So have you got any photos hidden away of those times?
no, just a few which my daughter's got over in Melbourne.
Yeah.
She's got one up on the wall of Chester and I coming out, standing beside the surf club up here with our boards, and I had a quain. And I bought my first board I ever got made from myself was a quain. Then this quain board came up from the South Island.
Yeah.
And that was a super board there.
Was he Christchurch or somewhere like that? Wasn't he? Yeah.
And through the surf lifesaving, I stayed with surf lifesaving right through.
So you competed all the competitions with the that sort of thing? Lifesaving?
Yeah, I did. And then I went into coaching it.
Yeah.
And with my job took me around New Zealand, but I went over, had a couple of trips to Australia, and one of the trips over there we'll go back to when I first started lifesaving. We just used the reel for rescuing. Yeah. And then we slowly used the board. Yeah. And then I adapted the system of getting a patient on a board without getting off your board and things like this. And that became an international feat. I got that letter from the world. Yep. So you did. You used to pick them up and put them on, but just staying on your boards on your field. Yeah. And then the tubes came in from America. Yeah. And then we still didn't have speed enough to get them. I went to Australia and they had the IRBs over there, but they were long ones. Yeah. And as we know the way they buckle like that. Oh yeah. Folded up. And then I came back to New Zealand and said, no, we've got to get them smaller. Yeah. And we introduced them to Taranaki, and I was the introduction of that when we had Noah Johnston and people like that. And then from Taranaki, when I shifted out of there, I went across to Hawke's Bay and I really got into lifesaving there. We had some famous swimmers and board people there. And we won the Laurie, which was in the province of New Zealand, and that was where we, I was in the Auckland team a couple of years before that, and won it, but this was something to win with these boys, Yeah. So I did enjoy that, and then I eventually just started to slip out because my own children were getting older. And,
Can we ask you, how many children have you got?
I got 3 children.
And grandchildren?
There's 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nine grandchildren?
Yeah, I've got 9.
Any greats yet, or just?
No. My boys were great surfers too. Yeah. And one's an oceanographer.
Oh yeah. So tell me about your boys. Where did they surf mainly when they were?
When they sort of grew up and around the. Say when the first was, I came back. I was in a sort of regional office. Then I came in and I went back to branch work and I came to Dargle and I started surfing there. Yeah. And I used to take them over to Waipu and things like that.
It's a great feeling to get out there with your kids, haven't you? Yeah.
And then we sort of bought a house in Auckland, and the idea of the children's education was very important. So James has got an oceanographer, and he's got a master of natural resource engineering, and he's just this week he starts with a big international company, the AGG.
Whereabouts are they?
Well, they're stationed out of Paris, but he's going to work out of Houston for a while. In the Gulf of Mexico. Under the underwater research there. Yeah. He does it with all with cameras, and this is what he brought out of New Zealand when he was working for the. Oh yeah. So he's done a lot of work around New Zealand. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. And then between Jane, the boys, there's a girl, and she runs events, and she works for now. She's got 3 children, but she's just been, and she's working for the Australian Formula 1. Oh yeah. She's worked for Westpac and all the big companies.
That's a huge job, getting something like that to get everything together.
Well, and she's worked for Telecom in New Zealand when America's Cup was on. And they're all a lot of nautical things the kids are involved in. And Mark's a great swimmer. But he's a builder in Auckland.
So when was the last time you had a surf? A few years ago?
Yeah, it is. For one of my operations, I got no feeling on the top of my body now. So all my nerves are gone. And I can't swim over an arm or anything. But I was out at Waipu and my head was, they got cut up there, but it was just before I went in there, I went out and it was Tim's birthday in Waipu, and I went and I got it as the body shooting, and I was right out the back, and I came all the way to shore. I thought that could be one of those. That's but I can't even swim overarm there.
I see Timmy out in the water now and again. I run into and old buddy, so they're still at it. When you were younger, did you have any surf accidents or anything when you Were you one of the lucky ones?
I think I might have got cut once. I think the worst cut I ever got was tended to was Tui Wheelie.
Yeah.
A skid got him
Where did that
in the
happen?
Waipu.
Yeah.
And he was ripped. And I remember seeing him in the water and bringing him out and
Yeah.
holding him in my hand, holding the cut closed in my hand.
So she was pretty severe.
Yeah. And we got him to hospital and my hand was still, the blood had congealed and we held it together like that.
So where did he cut himself?
Still, I think it's on his back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it must have been pretty deep to.
Yeah. So that was one. And there's a few others like different people at different times, but those sort of dings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was the worst one I ever saw.
Anything stupid that stands out there while you're out surfing or away surfing that you've seen, or something funny or something that stands out, or
No.
what's the stupidest thing you've seen out there surfing?
Oh, just some of the, the old coffin rides and the,
Yeah.
this Joey Whittaker, and then they used to stand on their heads and come in. This is way back in 61 or something like that.
Yeah.
They could do that beautifully.
Yeah.
Because they just came straight in.
Yeah.
In those days the boards were wide. And,
So earlier you were talking about the boys that used to surf over from Waipu Cove round the corner.
yeah, around the Shelly Beach.
Yeah. So were they foam boards or were they?
Yeah, they were foam boards.
Yeah. So were the hollow ply boards around? Must have been a few of those around.
Yeah, they were in the surf club. They were, but they were sort of kneel boards,
Yeah. And they sort of phased out as.
Yeah. They were just straight coming in.
Yeah.
And the skis like with teardrops,
Yeah. That's.
We used to fish off those. We used to have a nail box.
Yeah.
And paddle out and have your fishing line, and you paddle and you put a line behind with a bit of rag and catch car wire and things like that. But that's why we used to go fishing up Shipwreck Bay, was tow a line out and let it lie there while it's surfing, come back and there's a fish on.
And they think fishing out of canoes is a new thing, and guys like you were doing it 40, 50 years ago. So
that's right.
At least, favourite beach when you're up this way, or where was your favourite beach? Would it be Waipu Cove, where you spent a lot of your youth out there?
Yeah, Waipu was, off the point there, got some great rides off there.
Yeah.
And,
can I ask what sort of music you were listening to in those days? Did you have a radio in your car? I know they didn't go far out of town.
Well, Hauraki was the radio station, and I've written down here on my notes was Radio Hauraki, Ian McGann and Ross Goodman. They were the pirates.
Yeah.
And they would come in and they would interview you on the beach.
Yeah.
And then a week later you would hear you're coming off the touring boat.
Yeah.
You'd hear that interview a week later.
Yeah.
But we saw a lot of those boys up there.
I think one of them, and I can't think of his name, is at Mangawai Heads, and he's still tied up with the radio station, the local one out there.
Okay.
And for the life of me, I can't think of his
Well,
name.
we rescued them when they broke the mooring and they landed on Uratiti Beach.
That's right. Yeah.
We were there, and there was a farmer's wife called Molly Brown, and she came down with some hot scones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that the original tour boat ended up on Limestone Island when it. I'm pretty sure it ended up there in its last days. It was tied up there and just rusted away.
Yeah, she came ashore there. They were pretty buggered because it was big seas, and we went out and got them there.
Yeah, that's right. We used to all listen to that. So
yeah.
I can't think of too much else to ask you.
No, just that Mike Daniels, he might bring something up of the crowd that came. Because the Auckland crowd brought it to us mainly. Yeah,
and we had a few competitions with those Auckland boys. There was the Surf Syndicate and some other guys.
No, I did. There was a competition, but we used to go away with these. I think the first competition we went to was the Mount.
Yeah.
Colin Hewings was the secretary of the New Zealand Surf Riders Association, and we went down the Mount there.
Did Tui go down to that one and he did pretty well?
He did well at that one.
Yeah.
And then we went to other ones like in Gisborne and things like that.
Yeah.
I remember at Gisborne they introduced a new beer called Leopard Lager, and they brought it up from Hawke's Bay or somewhere, and he cut a hole in the wall and had the taps coming through the wall. But people like that, it's some of the, I don't know whether you interviewed any of the girls or not. But,
Ainsley Knight, I missed her by a day.
Yeah.
She was over visiting her brother, and I just missed it a day. But I have done some. but they're pretty hard to get hold of.
Yeah, Laurie and Clark would be.
I've done Bill and Laurie.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great, and they had some old slides which were
Yeah, I was
fantastic.
going to say Bill and Laurie in there.
Because Bill had a camera.
But he didn't surf that much.
No, but when he came back from Aussie, he got back into it with us at Ngara. We had a little group out there. So
Yeah. I was just thinking of some of the others that there was a Worsfold girls, isn't there? They were down
Yeah.
Kaiwaka.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no, it was a good life. It was sort of a clean life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were fit.
Yeah, very fit. Like some of us played rugby and went surfing, and I don't know how we fitted it all in. We you know, but we did.
Yeah,
And,
I was. And you know, well, with the surf, being in the surf club too, we you know, it was just
swimming, having fun, and enjoying yourself.
And you did your duty or something. Someone said you got to be on patrol. If you didn't do it, you got someone to take their place.
Yeah, yeah.
And no, we did enjoy it, and I just look back on it, and it was a great life. And I go to my daughter's house, and there's this photo up on the hallway. Chester and I, yeah.
I wonder if you could you send us maybe a copy of that or something?
We're just holding the boards, yeah.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
So they didn't sort of. I've never been one to keep memorabilia and sort of.
Well, I think no one had cameras really. Very few people had cameras.
Yeah, Tui did.
Yeah.
I think when we had that reunion, and they had the slides come up, and
he had some great slides.
And we were down at that.
Laurie Hall, Forum North. Yes. Yeah.
And I said to Tim was down, I said, who's that? And he said, that's you. And I said, oh shit, that is too.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't recognise yourself.
No, no. I was like that with some, Laurie Clark had some slides, and I wondered who was that stupid looking guy there, and ended up it was me, yeah. But, yeah.
No, it was certainly a good spot, and you look back on it, and you know, as I say, I just wrote these names down on this list, and like, how's Barry these days? You talk to Barry?
Barry Chappelle, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's retired, but he's still got his original surfboard. The first surfboard he's bought, he's still got it in the shed. It's like a treasure to him. He's going to pass it on to the family, yeah.
Oh, okay. And Glennis is his wife, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. They're still up in Como there.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed at the stuff that, like Tim had, the magazines, just some of the stuff that people keep.
Yeah, I think my trouble is I own 9 houses around the country.
Probably shifted too much.
And you throw stuff out, I don't want to eat that.
Yeah, yeah.
And just looking back on it now, I think I've just got some of the old team photos of that Hawke's Bay team.
Yeah.
We had some massive, you know, boys that got swum Cook Straight and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. Look, any old historical photo that you wouldn't mind us having would be fantastic like that.
What do you do? What do you work at yourself?
I'm in the building trade, yeah.
Okay,
I'm going to retire in a year, so just that's one of the reasons I'm doing this.